Twisha Christian. Today I'm just going to be discussing about something that I brought up several days ago. And it's about this video here, about a trader being among the Iraqi people. And I talked about SADR and my thoughts about it. And obviously, if you guys know anything about what's come out lately in the news, and I'm getting ready to pull that article up here. And this is one of the things, does this set back Iraq? Does this set back the global currency reset and the banking system and gold-backed currency and everything else? Does it set it back? But first, I'm going to read this article. I'm going to read parts of the article to you guys so you can see. But it says, SADR betrays Iraq's protests and tries to hijack them with his own. A tale of two protests has unfolded in Iraq over the last 48 hours. On Friday, hundreds of thousands turned out to protest against U.S. military presence in Iraq. The next day, the security forces, backed by militias, moved into burnt tents of other protesters in Baghdad and other areas in Iraq. The turning point was SADR quiet betrayal of the mass protests that have unfolded since October and the green light to security forces to try to end Iraq's arrest once and for all. The turn of events has been in the works for a month. SADR, leader of Iraq's largest party, has been provocating for months. All right, so now I remember when Johnny from Currency 365 was talking about how he was in hiding. Well, this is what he was doing. He was planning all of this. And as you already know, that more people have passed away because of the protests. SADR, who had been in Iran in September to meet the leader of that country and also the general, which you know what happened to him, now was pressured to side with pro-Iranian elements in the dispute with the U.S. He said he was ready to work with them to get the Americans to leave Iraq on December 31st. Here, SADR hijacked the months of protests he had been angling to gain support from. After his hundreds of thousands came to Baghdad, they marched peacefully and went home. On the night of January 24th, new orders were released to riot police and militias. All the protesters were to go home, which meant dismantling the tents and facilities that had grown up in places like Tahrir Square. On Saturday, clashes throughout the day targeted protesters. Live ammunition and tear gas was used. SADR appeared to no longer back the Iraqi youth who already had sacrificed up to 700 and over 20,000 injured. Images on Saturday show protesters, tents and medical facilities burned. They also show police brutality and snipers. Protests have vowed to remain fighting with security forces on Wathba Street and at Sadiq Bridge. But the security forces appear to have coordinated some efforts from Baghdad to Basra to try to end months of protest. The protests are now in their 17th week after SADR abandonment with an empowered Iran that wants to make an example of them to punish them as a part of an anger against the U.S. It is unclear if they will make it into the 18th week. Wow, folks. So what we see here is a total betrayal. And it's a shame because he had been using them for months. All this has to do with this power and corruption. And I don't know what to say because Iraq doesn't have a prime minister yet. The people, everything is just in disarray. And I don't think that we've got to that point where things seem at their worst, but we are approaching that, especially for the Iraqi people. So, folks, there we have it. Are we going to... I believe that to a certain extent there is some type of date, or there's going to be some type of confirmation about what's going to happen. And a lot of you may not understand. And I will do a video about something that I think that is very important. So does this delay things? I don't really think so. I think there's a plan. If there's a plan in place already for this to happen, and I believe some things are destined to happen on certain days, and I think there are a certain amount of people in this world know when that day is going to come. But other things have to be set into place. And one of the things is we don't know what direction the Iraqi people are going to go into, especially without them having a prime minister that can take over, that can squash all of this. What's going on with the protest and everything else. But I believe that there could be some type of day. And I've been doing some research on some things. And I'm going to do it on the next video because I don't know if this video is going to get dinged or not. So it's going to be in my next video that I post. And it's going to be about, is the global reset already, is there a set date? And is there somebody out there that has been posting confirmations about major events? But I'll get that in the next video. But anyways, guys, I thank you for your support on the Patreon. If you guys like these videos, you want me to continue, please go to the Patreon and support. Or you can make one-time donations with PayPal. Everything is appreciated. And you guys are going to be really tripped out about this next video. And there's going to be some explaining to do. But some of that explaining will be on the Patreon, but it's going to be available for everybody to see. And I say that because there are some things I cannot just talk about in the video, or links I can post in this video that I'm going to make you guys. So, with that being said, God bless. Twisted Christian out.